Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Instead of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 best brawlers to max out or just play within this season of ranked. So there's been a bunch of changes with the meta because of the map pool changing, but literally every map but 5 maps have changed, and then modifiers as well, shifting up the meta within ranked. So I'm going to give you guys the best 10 brawlers to play to maximize your potential to get masters and even further on the leaderboard. So before we jump into it, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Really appreciate the support recently. And without further ado, let's jump into the first brawlers. So the first one might be a little bit underrated, but it is RT. So ever since the rework to his gadget, he's been able to just use his super straight away. So that's really good because it makes him a lot more versatile, makes him able to counter tanks a lot heavier. It allows him just to use his super sometimes just for positioning. So for example, on his best game mode is going to be Hot Zone, for example. He's got a really good map pool there. So dueling beetles and split, he's just really good at two-shotting any tanks. You've seen a lot of tanks right now in the Hot Zone meta with Grey, Poco, etc. So RT can kind of just ignore that idea and just delete them. Not only that, of course, he's still got his long range mechanic, which is just good in every single scenario. And then, of course, if you need to just quickly go against short range brawlers, you just press a gadget and then boom, you have your super. So he's really versatile for that reason. Again, there's a few maps on like Bounty as well. You can pretty much always play him because whether it's a long range meta, you know, facing off against other sharpshooters, you don't really need a new gadget. You can just stay to extra maps. And then gem grab as well. If you want a safe and sound gem carry, you can always go RT and switch the gadget if needed. Knockout as well. He's super versatile. So I'd say out 4 of the 6 game modes, he's really strong in. Next up, we have Byron. And again, he's on the list because he's still absolutely insane in the meta. Nothing much has really changed in terms of his counters getting better because he's still so strong and super versatile. We take a look at the map pool. In every single game mode, he has a strong map in. Knockout, he's always going to be strong on because he has so much utility and also so much good synergy with a lot of different brawlers. He's got gem grab. He's a pretty good gem carrier. Often there's a better option, but still you can never really go wrong with Byron. Bounty, again, a lot of the good bounty brawlers get banned, so Byron's always left open. He actually is pretty good in 1v1 scenario. Hot Zone as well, it just allows for so many synergies in Ring of Fire. You've got Heist, where he can still be used in good synergy with brawlers like Colette, and even Brawl, Pinball Dreams, he can just be really solid in the mid. So for me, he always will have a place in the meta. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely play in this season of ranked, and you must have a maxed out by now. Surely it is Max. Of course, Max is still absolutely insane. You guys probably wonder why I just spam Max so much, especially in my ranked masters push the other day. But Max is just always forgotten about because the average player doesn't understand how to play Max, but she's got a broken hypercharge. So one tip straight away I'd advise you guys is when you've got a max hypercharge, it's hard to coordinate with randoms, but try and use your max hypercharge when there's as many people on top of each other as possible, because if all 3 players are in the same spot, you get a 75% boost to your super and pretty much giving you a free super, and you can actually cycle 2 max hypercharges if you do that. That's one of the main reasons why she's so broken. It just means you just explode on the opponents and you're just able to overwhelm them so quickly and so easily, and that's why Max you can pretty much use in every single scenario. Good Max you can literally use in every single map and every single scenario. But into the next brawler you must absolutely play for this season in ranked, we have Amber. So I know I've been saying it since the beginning of the time for months and months now, but I'm not really thinking that she's going to get nerfed anytime soon, and she's still for me one of the brawlers that I always get the chance to play, and my randoms and the enemy team never pick Amber. So I just get free Amber games all of the time. I mean, people would rather just max out like Colt, Dynamite, Edgar, all of these other brawlers, whilst Amber's kind of forgotten about, and she's really easy to play. You can take a look at the map pool as well, and I think every single game mode, maybe except for Bounty, you probably still play her in Bounty, she's really strong on. In Gem Grab, for example, she's an excellent lane, especially on maps like Double Swoosh. In Hot Zone, she's pretty much the best brawler on every single map, maybe except for Split, a bit too close range for her. In Heist, she's such a solid option. I literally use in every single Heist map, and Brawl as well. All you need to do is pop on the vision gear, and then you can just counter tank so easily with the Dancing Flames gadget. Super versatile brawler, she's insane. Definitely S tier. Next brawler must absolutely play in this season of ranked, we have Draco, and boy is he broken in ranked. I think in ladder there's probably a few too many counters out there. For example, there's just a lot of tanks in ladder, but in ranked, if you get the good synergy, you can just absolutely wreck people with it. If you probably saw my stream with OJ, just take a look at it. I know it's 7 hours long, but just skip to the Draco games and you'll just see how broken this guy is. You pair it with a Byron, you pair it with a kit if you want to go even extra, but you just need the Byron synergy and he's just broken. You literally think of every single scenario is really good. I would try and avoid him on the super grassy maps like Retina, for example, because tanks will overwhelm him a little bit too much. But again, all you need is one super with Draco, a well-timed gadget, I think it's called Last Stand, and essentially you can just always stay alive, because then you have the healing style power on top of that, and then you get extra ammo. It's just GG at that point. Draco is absolutely broken. The next brawler you must absolutely play for this season in ranked, we have Buster. So I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, Buster is kind of falling off. A lot of people are asking that question in my comment section, but I just think he's still a consistent 8-tier brawler, and he's super versatile. That's why I really like him as a tank option. You can go in on knockout and bounty as well, and just be a good support brawler for your teammates. So in terms of knockout, he's really good in New Horizons. Literally all three of them he's really strong in, but especially New Horizons. In Gem Grab as well, been watching the monthly qualifiers, and he was still played in Hard Rock Mine. Of course, good in Double Swoosh as well. Bounty, he's going to be a little bit better on maps like Layer Cake. Hot Zone, he's insane on Hot Zone because his super just covers the entire zone, and you can just force the opponents back. He's not the best in high sport. He's really strong in Brawl as well. You can never go wrong with Buster, and he actually secretly got like a damage buff if you didn't see like a week ago. So Buster's still insane. So jump into the next brawler you must max out for this season of ranked. We have Shelly. Might be wondering where Shelly came from. Like, she's kind of like a consistent CB tier brawler, but trust me, I've been going Shelly so much for this season, and I've been winning pretty much every single game. I'd say the map pool's changed a little bit, might have affected her a tiny bit, but I still think she's super underrated. So again, there's just a lot of tanks going on right now with a bunch of hypercharges, and especially since the max meta, it's just been super aggressive. And you think of some maps in Brawl, for example, Galaxy Arena and Retina, literally tanks will win no matter what. And Shelly is probably the only brawler that will fully take down tanks. Charlie's decent, but it takes her a long time to cycle to her super now since the nerf, while Shelly, she just flies through her supers with hypercharge, clay pigeons, etc. And I'm still seeing Shelly used a lot of scenarios where she was previously used when she was super broken. For example, I've seen her used a few times in some knockout maps where she's pretty underrated on. Bounty as well, I've seen her pop up in a lot of places during monthly qualifiers as well. You know, on Hard Rock Mine, you think that might not be a Shelly map? Well, you have to go Shelly to counter the likes of Rosa and all these other brawlers. The next brawler you must absolutely play in this season of ranked, we have Cordelius. So it kind of comes and goes out of the meta a little bit ever since his nerfing his supercharge rate, etc. But I think he's still super strong in this meta. So after again playing a lot of ranked, I've realized there's some good tank counters out there, but don't fully do the job. And Cordelius does that job just like Shelly. You know, brawlers like Charlie and Ems, they don't actually shut down tanks the way you want to. You can still run all over those brawlers, but you can't run all over a Cordelius. He absolutely wrecks tanks in a 1v1. He gets super from them for free, charges hypercharge so easily from them as well. In a 1v1 with combo shrooms, he deletes them. And the good thing about Cordelius as well, I'm seeing him in a lot of other areas as well. Knockout, he's actually pretty good as a standalone brawler with the jump gadget. He can get a lot of value in New Horizons. It's a decent counter to throwers, for example, as well. And then you think of other scenarios as well where you might think that he's easily countered. Well, he can just cheese his way out of it with the jump gadget, and you just get automatic pressure. And again, I'm just thinking in every single map, I pretty much would go Cordelius except for shooting stars, so he's always a good option. So jumping into the next brawler, he must absolutely max out for this season. We have Rosa. So the return of Rosa, you started to see it slowly come into fruition the last season of ranked, and now she's just more meta than probably near enough ever since she got the hypercharge. She was pretty strong, then she got nerfed a few times, and then she's back with a bang essentially. So again, there's a lot of maps that really favor her. I think every single gem grab map she can be a force. It's mainly because of brawlers like Jean, Sandy, Max have came into the meta. And if we rewind back a couple of years, that used to be just literally an unstoppable trio of Max, Sandy, Rosa, and you could just go that combination pretty much everywhere and you'll win, because given Rosa max speed, it's just pretty much over. So again, the meta around her really favors her, and it's not really too many hard counters out there. Like for example, she can actually even win a Shelly matchup sometimes because of the fact that she can cycle through hypercharge supers so quickly. Think of Hot Zone, you've seen so many cheesy strategies with Poco, with Grey, where she can get so much value. Brawl, super grassy maps. There's just so many options for Rosa in the meta. And finally, jumping into the last brawler you must absolutely play in this season of ranked, we have Jean. So I know I've spoke about him enough in previous videos, but I just want to reiterate just how incredibly strong he is in this meta. Again, the meta around him has just favored him so much, with Max and Sandy reappearing in the meta. He's just pretty good for that. You've got Knockout, where he's always been one of the best brawlers. The only way he's countered is by brawlers that have a gadget, because as long as you can hit your pool, you win the game. Essentially, it's a skill issue if you can't play Gene and knockout. You know, I say that for myself. I miss every single pull. You've got Gem Grab as well. He's super safe in terms of like hard mine, really good at scouting the grass, acute angle, just really good in the mid, and his Gene Pool will always be a threat. You don't have to just throw out your Gene Pool all the time. Just having that Gene Pool just allows you to have so much presence on the map that sometimes you don't even need to use it. You can just literally walk up the map, and if the opponents walk too close to you, then you can just auto aim that pool and win the game. You know, you think of Brawl, for example, pretty good for scouting the grass. There's a lot of good options for Gene in this current ranked season. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.